All right, so let's dive in. We got a really interesting article sent in. Can AI replace product designers, from the Asambhav Solutions blog? And it's a question that seems to be popping up more and more these days. So we figured, hey, let's take a closer look at this and see what we can find out.
Yeah, and what I find really fascinating is how AI is, already sort of sneaking its way into design,
Right.
even if we're not always super aware of it.
Right. It's like it's already happening all around us.
Exactly. Like, think about those. You might also like recommendations you get online,
Oh, yeah.
or even just how some websites seem to like kind of tailor their layout just for you. That's AI doing its thing behind the scenes.
Huh. Yeah, it really is like having this like invisible design assistant working behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Kind of makes you wonder though what that means for, actual human designers, right? Like can AI
Yeah.
really replace that human touch, that creativity?
Well, the article does bring up some really specific examples of where AI is proving to be really helpful in design.
Oh, interesting.
Like, it's really good at automating those kind of tedious tasks, resizing images, generating different design variations, even creating basic layouts.
So it's like AI is that like super efficient intern who's happy to handle all the grunt work
Mm,
so the human designers can focus on the more like strategic stuff, the creative stuff.
exactly. And the article actually gives this cool example of AI suggesting color palettes to a brand based on the specific emotions they want to evoke.
Wait, really?
Yeah. So imagine telling a machine, I want my customers to feel energized and optimistic, and it just, boom, spits out the perfect color combo.
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
But, I can't help but wonder if there are limits to what AI can really do. Like, can it really understand, human emotions and create designs that, like, truly resonate with people on a deeper level?
Yeah, that's a great question. And it actually leads into one of the main points the article makes, which is that, AI is amazing with data and patterns, but it can struggle with things like originality, cultural context, and that whole emotional intelligence thing.
So it's like AI can create a design that's technically perfect, but it might be missing that, like, that soul, that human touch that makes it really special.
Exactly. The article points out that AI might miss the mark when it comes to understanding things like brand identity, or even just like cultural nuances. And that can lead to designs that look good, but don't really connect with the audience.
Right, they might look good on paper, but they don't actually work in the real world.
It makes me think about, how important empathy is in design. Like that ability to really understand and anticipate the user's needs and feelings.
Absolutely. And that's something the article really emphasizes, that AI lacks that emotional intelligence. It can't grasp a user's frustration, when a button is in the wrong place,
Yeah.
or the joy they feel when they're interacting with a well-designed product.
Oh, I know exactly what you mean. I remember once trying to use this app that was so badly designed, it was like pulling teeth. And then I found this other app that did the same thing, but it was so intuitive, so enjoyable to use. It completely changed how I felt about the whole task, like night and day.
Okay.
And that's exactly what good design is all about, right? It's not just about aesthetics. It's about solving problems, anticipating needs, and creating experiences that are both functional and emotionally satisfying. And that's where human intuition and empathy really come into play.
Yeah, it's clear that AI can do some amazing things,
Yeah.
but it doesn't sound like it's quite ready to, like, fully replace human designers. What about, though, this idea of AI as a tool, like a partner in the design process?
Ah, now that's where things get really interesting. The article suggests that AI isn't necessarily a replacement, but a powerful new tool, something that can actually augment our abilities and help us work smarter and faster.
So instead of fearing AI, we should be thinking about how to use it to our advantage to make ourselves better designers.
Exactly. Imagine having an AI assistant that can handle all those tedious, repetitive tasks, leaving you free to focus on the more strategic, creative parts of your work.
That does sound pretty amazing.
Right. And think about it. AI could generate initial design ideas, provide real-time feedback, even offer deeper insights into user behavior based on all that data it can analyze.
Okay, now that sounds like a dream come true. But let's be realistic. No technology is perfect.
Yeah.
And the article does acknowledge that, AI has its limits. It's not like a magic wand that can solve every design problem.
You're absolutely right. And one of the key limitations the article brings up is AI's lack of originality. It's great at creating designs based on existing trends and patterns.
Right. It's like that super efficient intern who can follow all the rules perfectly, but maybe struggles to come up with their own, like, brilliant out-of-the-box ideas.
Exactly. So, AI can create designs that are technically sound and visually appealing, but they might lack that unique handcrafted feel that comes from, true human artistry. It's the difference between a perfectly replicated painting and an original masterpiece.
So how do we avoid ending up in a world where everything looks the same? Where everything is designed by algorithms following the same trends.
That's where our role as human designers becomes even more critical. We need to be really intentional about injecting our own originality, our personality, our creative spark into our work. We can use AI as a starting point, as inspiration, but we have to bring our own vision and aesthetic sense to the table.
It's like AI gives us the ingredients, but we're the chefs who blend them together, adding our own spices, our secret techniques, to create something truly delicious and unique.
I love that analogy. It really captures that balance we need to find, between leveraging AI's capabilities and holding on to our own creative control. And another potential pitfall the article mentions is AI's limited contextual awareness. It might not always grasp the subtle nuances of a brand's identity or the cultural sensitivities of a certain audience.
Oh, right. So AI might create a design that looks amazing, but totally misses the mark when it comes to communicating the right message or connecting with the people it's supposed to connect with. Kind of like when a brand tries too hard to be hip or trendy, but it just comes across as awkward and out of touch.
Exactly. AI can analyze all the data points, but it doesn't always get those intangible qualities, the things that make a brand or a design really resonate with people. That's where our human intuition, our understanding of cultural context, and our ability to empathize with users becomes so important.
Right. It's like AI can build a house, but it needs a human architect to understand the landscape, the climate, the people who will be living in it. Otherwise, you might end up with a beautifully designed house that's totally impractical.
Such a good point. AI can give us the building blocks, but it's up to us to arrange them in a way that makes sense for the specific situation.
So yeah, it sounds like AI can't be a set it and forget it solution. It still needs human oversight, human guidance, a critical eye to make sure the final design is not just pretty, but effective and relevant.
Absolutely. The article really emphasizes that, at least for now, AI is a powerful tool that needs a skilled craftsperson to wield it effectively. We need to be thoughtful about how we integrate it into our workflows, understanding its strengths and limitations so we can use it to boost our creativity, not replace it.
So it's less about robots taking over and more about humans and machines like dancing together in this creative process.
Yeah.
But how do we as designers prepare for this new world? What skills and mindsets do we need to cultivate to really thrive in this AI-powered future?
Those are great questions, and ones we'll definitely be diving into in the next part of our deep dive.
Okay, so we've talked about how AI can be this really powerful tool for designers,
Right.
but it's not about handing over all the creative control, right? It's more about learning how to use this new tool, how to make it work for us.
Yeah.
But what does that actually look like in practice? How do we prepare for this AI-powered design world?
Well, the article doesn't give us a step-by-step guide or anything, but it definitely hints at some key skills and mindsets that designers will need.
Okay, so less of a roadmap, more like a compass pointing us in the right direction.
Exactly. And I think one of the first landmarks on that journey is, embracing lifelong learning.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, because in this field, things change so quickly. We can't just rely on the skills we have today. We got to keep learning, keep growing.
So no more thinking, okay, I've mastered Photoshop, I'm good for the next 10 years.
Haha. Yeah, I think those days are over. The design world is constantly evolving, and AI is just one piece of that puzzle. The designers who are going to thrive are the ones who are curious, adaptable, always ready to learn something new.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But what should we be learning specifically? Should we all be rushing off to coding boot camps? Do we all need to become AI experts?
Not necessarily. It's more about developing what the article calls AI literacy.
AI literacy.
Yeah, basically it means understanding the fundamentals of how AI works, what it's good at, what it struggles with, and how it can be applied to design.
So instead of being intimidated by AI, we need to get under the hood and see how it ticks.
Exactly. Think of it like learning a new design software. You don't need to know how to program it from scratch, but you do need to understand its features and how to use them.
Right, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But AI literacy is just one piece of the puzzle, right? What other skills are important?
Well, the article also highlights critical thinking as being crucial. AI can generate tons of data and design options,
Oh, yeah.
but it's the human designer who needs to analyze that information, make judgments, and guide the process toward a successful outcome.
So we can't just blindly accept whatever the AI gives us.
Exactly. We need to be able to step back, ask the right questions, and use our own judgment.
It's almost like the designer becomes more of a curator or an editor, using AI as a tool, but ultimately shaping the final product with their own expertise.
That's a great way to put it.
Okay, so we've got lifelong learning, we've got critical thinking. Anything else we should be working on?
Well, the article touches on something that might seem a little surprising, given that, AI itself kind of lacks this
What's that?
emotional intelligence.
Oh, wow, that's interesting. You'd think that as technology gets more advanced, those soft skills would become less important. Why is emotional intelligence even more crucial in this AI-driven world?
Because those are the things that make us human. And they become even more valuable as technology takes over more of those routine tasks. The ability to understand and respond to human emotions, to
Mhm.
empathize with users, to create experiences that really connect on a deeper level, those are the things that will set human designers apart.
So AI might be able to design a website that looks amazing, but it's the human designer who can make it feel welcoming, engaging, truly understand what the user needs and wants.
Exactly. Our job as designers is to create experiences that aren't just functional, but also meaningful and emotionally resonant.
And in a world where technologies is everywhere, those human qualities are only going to become more important.
Absolutely.
Wow, this is really giving me a lot to think about.
Yeah.
Sounds like this AI-powered future of design is full of potential, but also some challenges we need to be prepared for.
It's definitely an exciting time to be a designer.
So what's the one thing you hope our listeners take away from this conversation?
That the future of design isn't about humans versus machines. It's about humans and machines working together. We need to approach AI with curiosity, a willingness to experiment, and a clear understanding of what it can and can't do.
It's about embracing this new world, not being afraid of it, and believing in our own ability to adapt, to evolve, and to keep shaping the world with our creativity and vision.
Beautifully said.
Well, on that note, we're going to wrap up this part of our deep dive. We'll be back soon to explore even more about this fascinating topic, so stay tuned. Okay, so we've been talking about this whole AI and design thing, and it seems like the key is like not just letting the machines take over, right? It's about understanding this new technology, figuring out how to use it to our advantage to become like better designers. But how do we actually do that? What are the practical steps we can take to get ready for this whole AI-powered design world?
Well, the article doesn't really lay out a step-by-step plan, but it definitely gives us some clues about the skills and mindsets that will be important.
Okay, so it's more like giving us a compass, not a GPS.
Exactly. And I think one of the most important things the article emphasizes is, lifelong learning.
Ah, yeah, that makes
This
sense.
field is changing so fast, we can't just rest on our laurels.
Right, like knowing Photoshop inside and out isn't going to cut it anymore.
Exactly. Designers who are curious, adaptable, always eager to learn new things, those are the ones who are going to thrive.
So what should we be learning? Is it all about like coding and algorithms and stuff?
It's not necessarily about becoming a tech expert, but more about developing what the article calls AI literacy.
AI literacy, huh?
Yeah, basically it means understanding the basics of how AI works, knowing what it's good at, what its limitations are, and how it can be applied to design.
So instead of being intimidated by AI, we need to like demystify it a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Think of it like learning a new design software. You don't need to know how to build it from scratch, but you got to know how to use it.
Okay, that makes sense. But
Yeah.
AI literacy is just one part of the equation, right?
Right. The article also talks about the importance of critical thinking.
Oh, yeah, of course.
AI can give you mountains of data, tons of design options, but it's the human designer who needs to sift through all that, make judgments, and guide the process in the right direction.
So we can't just blindly accept whatever the AI spits out.
Exactly. We need to be able to step back, ask the right questions, use our own judgment to evaluate what the AI is giving us.
It's almost like the designer becomes more of a curator or an editor,
Hmm.
using AI as a tool, but still shaping the final product with their own vision.
That's a great way to think about it.
Okay, so we've got lifelong learning, critical thinking. Anything else we should be adding to our designer toolkit?
Well, this one might seem a little counterintuitive, especially given that AI itself kind of lacks this quality.
Oh, what is it?
Emotional intelligence.
Huh, that is interesting. You'd think that as technology gets more advanced, those soft skills would become less important.
Mhm.
Why is emotional intelligence even more vital in this AI-driven world?
Because at the end of the day, those are the things that make us human, right? And they become even more valuable as machines take over more of the routine tasks.
Hmm.
That ability to understand and respond to human emotions, to empathize with users, to create experiences that really connect on a deeper level, that's what sets human designers apart.
So AI might be able to create a website that's visually stunning,
Yeah.
but it's the human designer who can make it feel warm, inviting, who can really understand what the user needs and wants.
Exactly. As designers, our job is to create experiences that aren't just efficient and functional,
Mm.
but also meaningful and emotionally resonant.
And in a world where technology is everywhere, those human qualities are only going to become more important.
Absolutely. They're what make us unique, what make us valuable.
Wow, this has been a really eye-opening conversation. It sounds like this AI-powered future of design is full of possibilities, but also some really important things we need to keep in mind.
It's definitely an exciting time to be a designer.
So to wrap things up, what's the one key takeaway you hope our listeners walk away with today?
I think the most important message is that this isn't about humans versus machines. It's about humans and machines working together. We need to approach AI with a sense of curiosity, a willingness to experiment, and a deep understanding of both its power and its limitations.
It's about embracing this new world, not being afraid of it, and believing in our own ability to adapt, evolve, and continue shaping the world with our creativity and vision.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, that brings us to the end of our deep dive into AI and the future of design. We hope this conversation has sparked some ideas and given you some things to think about. And remember, the future is what we make it. So go out there, embrace the possibilities, and keep designing the world you want to live in.